Good morning, fellow traders. It's Black Coffee Trader. Today is Friday, July the 18th. Finally able to do a morning daily trade plan video. I haven't been able to do one, I don't think, all week, or if I did, I might have done one on Monday. Might be the reason why I didn't trade so well this week, because a lot of times I was coming in, looking at the market late, and then making some quick adjustments to some levels and then taking trades, and that may or may not have caused some of the issues that I had this week, but it feels a lot better on a morning like this where I've had time to actually put a plan together. So let's just dive right in. Looking at the NASDAQ, yesterday, obviously, let's just zoom in here a little bit. We broke the previous all-time high, made a new all-time high. Here's the previous all-time high coming in on, let's see, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday. That was on Tuesday. And then we broke that yesterday, made a new all-time high. And then in the overnight session, this market has continued to trend higher and re-broke that high we set during the New York session yesterday. So we are sitting, the new all-time high is sitting right up here around the 23,308s. And right now it appears that we have a lot of buyers holding, and the question is, are they trapped? I'll talk about that more on ES, because I do see something on ES that would signify that. But anyway, we've got a lot of buyers sitting right here. So we will see if this just continues to hold and push higher. Here's the overnight low. This would be what I consider the overnight session, is when the futures market reopens at 6 p.m. So anything from hour 1700 on is what I have charted here. This is the low and the high is up here. So the curiosity for me is, do we hold this overnight low? Do we continue to push higher? Or a bigger picture, I think, honestly, in my opinion, if we want to hold this market bullish and stay strong for a big move today, I think we really need to hold this previous high at the 23,220s. So getting a pullback to this level, something I would be interested in. If we get a pullback and hold, push higher, or if you get a pullback that dips below and retest, that could set up a little short down into the 150s. The 150s is an area that I've got marked because that was an overnight high area right here from, let's see, that would have been, today is Friday, it would have been Wednesday night. Also some reactions there, and then you've also got some highs coming in here on Wednesday, coming in around the 23,100s, and so getting a pullback to here I think would be nice, but I wouldn't mind a pullback to any of these couple of levels, but you could also set up shorts into those levels as well. So again, just going to try to keep eyes wide open today and see what this market gives us. ES. Right now, as I just talked about, I do feel, and again, ES made new all-time highs. Yesterday, we did break that right here, and then the overnight session, we broke it again. So ES and NQ both making New York session highs yesterday, and then breaking those highs again today. And right now, we have, it looks like, a potential for some trap buyers here above yesterday's high. Very, very interesting. And so this is a little bit clean. This level is the previous all-time high on the ES, which price is right now at 7:30 here in the morning, is sitting just below there. And so the question is this a trapped break and retest from yesterday opportunity? Is this going to push down into the market open? And will this area around the 63.33s hold? This 63.33 is kind of this area right here that we created here on, actually yesterday, early yesterday, we had a push up, and then we pushed through that, and then also have some reactions right here in the overnight session a couple of days ago here around the 63.33s. So anyway, I didn't mean to leave these on here. Well, actually, at a point, I just want to look at the levels and not worry about trying to set these arrows. We're going to trade the levels, and I'm trying to put levels in the charts that are at areas of key, obviously support, resistance, highs of days, prior day highs, prior day lows, intraday, or the overnight highs, overnight lows, and then just areas of key support resistance. And then obviously, if there's a level, I would potentially take a trade on there if we get a good break and retest setup. So yes, I'm very interested to see, does this little potential trapped buyers look, is that a short-term short, or is it a long-term short? Is it a big short today? Are we going to get a pullback day today down into some of these levels? Again, I really think if we really want to hold this market higher, we need to hold we really need to hold, like on NQ. I feel like we definitely want to hold this area potentially here. I mean, this is still, or even right here, these first three levels I've got really, we need to hold above the 23.1s. I think that's the line in the sand. If we fall below 23.1s, we're going to go right back down in this channel. Which could happen. And on ES, I think that level, the key level is the 63.33s. We've got a lot of reactions there. If we can stay above that, I think we're good. If not, if we fall down below here, really a pullback into here wouldn't be bad. The 63.13s. If we get a pullback here, that could set up a nice long as well. But also, I will definitely be looking for shorts. If we get break and retests, if the market opens up and we fall below here and retest the 63.33, that could set up a beautiful short down into the 63.13. So that is something definitely to be looking for. So there's opportunities on either way, either side. Obviously, this market is bullish, but that doesn't mean we can't take a short. It just depends on what the market is giving us. Dow Jones, I did clean this up a little bit. I had some extra levels here, I thought, on the Dow Jones, and just tried to clean out and kind of zoom out a little bit and get kind of the bigger picture. But here we have a key area around the 44.612s. And right now we're in a similar situation here to what we had on the ES, and this would be in the overnight session. We held above yesterday's high, which I like, but again, we kind of have a trap buyer situation. See how we have all these buyers in the after hours. We're sitting above here, and we fell below yesterday's high of day right here, and we retested it here early this morning, actually around 7:30. So yeah, we just started to reject that. So is that going to be a push down into some of this, maybe this 44.16 level at market open, and then does that stay? Does that stay? Do we get a bounce there? I do like that trade if we get that on the Dow Jones today. If we get a pullback to this and then the bounce higher, or do we start to set up some break and retest shorts? And again, the key areas that we're looking at here on the Dow Jones are this big area right down here on the 44.439s, and obviously this big one right here around 44.608. That's what we were looking at. I was calling it 616, I think, earlier. And then if we get a push higher, if we get something higher above yesterday's high, above these highs right here, above these lows here, coming in around the 44.800s, that is something I would definitely look to take a long up into this next area of the support and resistance around the 44.940s. Look at this 800 reaction. We've had some 800 reactions before, but in the overnight session, we held below that. We couldn't push back above it for quite some time, several hours. We pushed down below it, retested this overnight, or yesterday's New York session high. Again, that would be right now, that is a really nice break and retest short. I'm not in that trade, but that would be a really nice trade. Looking for something down into this 44, 610, 612, 608 area. So that's the Dow Jones. Pretty clean, pretty clear. Russell, this Russell has just been on a tear in a very similar situation. Very interesting haul. ES, Russell, ES, Dow Jones, and Russell are all seeing this same little phenomenon occurring from the overnight session. We've broken the yesterday New York session highs, and then we've dipped below it, and we're retesting that. And it looks like a little bit of a mini trap buyer situation, which could set up a nice short here at the open potentially. So kind of the same thing occurring here. On the Russell, though, we are looking for pullbacks into kind of this range between the 2260s, the 2260.8, 2257. If we get a pullback into there, that could set up a really nice long. We have push back all the way through this big drop, so kind of filled that gap, if you will, and so we might get a little pullback here. Again, could be a nice little break and retest short into this area for a push higher, potentially. That definitely is a trade that I would be looking for on either side. If we lose this, again, break and retest short down into the low of day from yesterday, sitting down here on the 2236s. So pretty clean, pretty clear. Obviously, things feel pretty clean to me today. And again, maybe, the last couple of days I haven't done so well, and maybe it's just because I've not been able to do this in the morning, where I analyze the charts, take a look at what has priced on over the last couple of days, kind of reset some levels, and get a good game plan on the day. The other thing of note on the Russell, the daily 200 and the daily 20 moving average have both converged pretty much at the same point here around the 2220s. So that is right here at this reaction area, and definitely something that in my opinion, probably is going to keep this thing higher. If we lose that, if we get all the way down below here, we're probably going way down. And if that happens, there's going to be some other reactions probably on some of these other markets. On the Dow Jones, the daily 20, sitting here at the 44,623s. The 200 is sitting way down here about 43,600, so we're well above price there. The daily 20 sitting here around the 44.45s. The 200 and the 50, those are way down here, so we're well removed from those. And NQ, I think a similar pattern. Here's the daily 20 sitting right here, very key level here around the 22,800s, 22,796s. And then the other moving averages are sitting way down here below price. There's a daily 50, I believe. Yeah, the daily 200 is sitting all the way down here around the 400. So we're expanded quite heavily away from those moving averages, which is something I do pay attention to. And again, the Russell, we do have the 200 and the 20 converging right here on the 2220s. So again, I do think this is bullish. I think that the grand scheme of things, we're looking for a push higher. So that's the plan for today. We'll take a look at what price gives us here this morning as the market opens, and hopefully I can put some green on this last remaining funded account that I have, the Tradeify funded account. So we're down $500 on that account. Got 1,200 in drawdown left, so hopefully we can put a couple green days together, because we had a couple red days this week. So ending today on a green note would be good, and then moving into next week and hopefully putting some green back on the chart. So again, thanks for following along. Sorry for not having a daily trade plan video this week, or at least not for the last several days. I just simply have not had time to do it. And hopefully we can continue into next week and bring you a daily trade plan. And again, it does me a lot of good to have this daily trade plan. So hopefully you get some value out of it. All right, take care. Have a great Friday. Have a good weekend, and we'll catch up with you on the next one. Take care, and so long.